And we're back now with Senator Elizabeth Warren. Her new book, A Fighting Chance, currently is in the #2 position on the New York Times bestseller list. Senator, welcome to Face the Nation. I want to ask you first about this legislation you unveiled to allow people to refinance their student loans, which you say is now higher than either credit card debt or auto loan debt in this country.
That's right.
Already, the Republicans said no way, no how. Senator Cornyn said it looks like just another way to raise taxes. So is that it?
No. So let's start by just reminding everybody what this is. Our young people are being crushed by student loan debt. $1.2 trillion in outstanding student loan debt, and it is exploding. In less than a decade, student loan debt has gone up 71% for the average amount that young people are borrowing. This is a crisis that now is not just affecting families that get hurt by it, it's affecting the whole economy.
My mantra is that the Congress is broken, our whole political system is broken, and not much can get done. You take kind of a different take in your book. You say the system is rigged to help the rich people and the big banks.
Yeah.
So what is your solution? What do you see as the way out of all this?
Well, so as I talk about in my book, what I really see, this is a first-hand account in the book. It's kind of the eyewitness from going to Washington in different fights along the way, always running in to the moneyed interest, so that Washington works for anyone who can hire an army of lobbyists and lawyers. It just doesn't work for regular families. So what I think that's going to have to be about is they've got the concentration of money and power that makes sure that every rule works for those who are rich. What we have on the other side is we only got two things. We've got our voices and we've got our votes. And we've got to make sure we get heard. That's the only way we ever get a level playing field.
We've got a Democratic administration. President Obama's been in there for more than 5 years now.
He has.
Is your fight with him or is it with the Republicans?
You know, look, as I make clear in the book, I have had very strong and frankly pretty public disagreements with both the Bush administration and with the current administration, particularly during the financial bailout over the treatment of the biggest banks. My view was there was too much, and still is, too much tilting the playing field in their favor. But I also want to say on this, we always have to remember, I got out there and fought for the idea of a little Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Idea behind it was that credit card companies and mortgage companies shouldn't be able to cheat ordinary families. Do you know who stood up for that? It was President Obama.
Let me ask you a little bit about politics. You've got the midterm election coming up here. My sense is that there's a very good chance the Republicans are going to take back the Senate.
Well, I'm going to be out there fighting that. I'll tell you that, because I know which side, which party stands with American families, stands with America's middle class, who wants to give the middle class a fair shot. And so I'm going to be out there doing everything I can for the Democratic candidates. We've got good people in the United States Senate. We've tried to move something forward. Take a look at the House if you want to see what happens when Republicans take over. What are they on now? Is this their 50th vote to repeal Obamacare? That's not how you run a country. We have real issues we need to deal with. Minimum wage, student loan debt, equal pay for equal work. Little accountability for the big financial institutions.
Your fans say you're a populist, but your critics say you're just basically a socialist.
I just don't know where they get that. You know, look at the issues. I mean this, really, let's take a look at them. Minimum wage, I just believe nobody should work full-time and live in poverty. And you know what? Most of America agrees. Student loans. I don't think the U.S. government should be making tens of billions of dollars in profits off the backs of our students, which is what the current student loan system is doing. And I think most Americans agree with me on that.
You know, 2 years into your term now, you have written a book. That's exactly what Barack Obama did 2 years into his Senate term. But you have also said about 19 times that you are not running for president. So I'm going to give you a chance to say for the 20th time.
I am not running for president.
But if Hillary Clinton decides not to run, will you reassess?
You know, I am not running for president. But let me say something about that book, because it's important. This is my 10th book, not my first or second. This book is about my life's work. I have written all those books about what's happening to America's middle class. And I have watched as America's middle class just gets hammered one more time and one more time and one more time. I have watched as Washington tilts more and more and more toward the rich and the powerful. I wrote this book because I'm out there trying to make sure that every kid gets a fighting chance.
Are you going to endorse Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, we're not there. This is about the issues on the table right now. We've got to talk about student loans. We've got to talk about minimum wage. We have got to make changes. And we have an election coming up in 2014 where those issues are going to be right on the table. People will have voted, and the voters will have a chance to look at how the Senate voted.
Elizabeth Warren, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.